Welcome to Clinical Pen. Definitely hit subscribe if you haven't already.
And do check us out at clinicalpen.com for more.
Right. So today, let's discuss something, well, really fundamental to well-being for so many people, yoga.
hmm
We often talk about, what kind of yoga or how to do the poses right. But what if when you practice actually makes a huge difference? Maybe even more than we think.
Yeah, it's a really interesting angle, isn't it? I mean, our bodies, they're not just static machines running the same way all day
Well,
long.
no,
They've
exactly.
got these intricate natural cycles, these rhythms. And there's this growing idea that aligning what we do, like yoga, with these rhythms, well, it could seriously boost the benefits.
Absolutely. So that's kind of our mission today, isn't it? To unpack that a bit.
Yeah.
We want to look at how doing yoga at different times might hit your body and mind differently, and hopefully help you, listening, figure out what timing might actually work best for your goals, your life.
Exactly. We can explore, what people report feeling, the kinds of practices that seem to fit morning versus evening.
And why, right? What's going on underneath?
Right, the why behind it. And then maybe think about how you choose, or if you could even, mix and match.
Okay, here's what really grabbed me. This idea that your body's internal clock, that thing managing sleep, hormones, everything might actually make, say, the morning significantly better for getting energized, while the evening is better for stress relief, like properly better.
There's definitely a science emerging around it. It's fascinating.
Let's get into it. So, okay, picture the classic scene. Sun's up, maybe you're still a bit bleary-eyed, you roll out the mat. Morning yoga.
The iconic image.
It feels kind of intuitive, right? Start the day fresh. But is there more to it than just ticking the box early?
Oh, for sure. Doing yoga in the morning, it lines up really nicely with our circadian rhythm. The body's internal 24-hour clock.
Right, the master timer.
Yeah. And that clock controls so much. Crucially, it controls how we naturally wake up.
Okay, and that connects to hormones, doesn't it? Like cortisol. I know it gets called the stress hormone, but it's actually what gets us going in the morning.
Precisely. Cortisol levels, they naturally start to climb early in the morning and they peak just after you wake up. That's your body's own alarm bell, basically. Boosts alertness, gives you energy.
Huh.
So if you do yoga right when that's happening, you're working with that natural activation signal. You're harnessing that energy.
Right, okay. Riding the wave, not fighting it? That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, what are the actual benefits people report feeling when they do that, when they tap into that morning energy with yoga?
Well, the big ones that come up again and again are a real boost in energy levels, obviously, but also better mental alertness.
Mm-hmm.
It's described as like waking up your whole system, body and mind.
Okay, more than just caffeine then.
A bit more holistic, yeah. And beyond just feeling awake, it's also mentioned for stimulating digestion and helping regulate metabolism, kind of setting a healthy baseline for your body's processes right from the get-go.
Wow, okay. So it's not just mental clarity, it's actually getting the physical systems like revved up for the day. Metabolism, digestion.
Mm.
Sounds pretty powerful.
It really can be. And it doesn't stop there. Morning yoga is often highlighted for sharpening focus and improving concentration, which, can directly help with productivity later on.
Makes sense. Get centered first.
Exactly. And there's another really key benefit, maybe less glamorous, but super important.
Yeah.
Just building discipline and consistency.
Ah, yes. The battle of just doing it.
Right. If you get it done first thing, before the emails pile up, before the kids need something, before all the day's chaos hits, it's just much easier to make it a solid habit. It sets a positive tone.
I can totally see that. That feeling of, okay, check. Done something good for me. Bring on the day. That's huge. So if someone's thinking, yes, I want that morning energy, that focus, what kind of yoga should they be looking at? I'm guessing not, like super slow and sleepy stuff.
No, definitely not aiming to put you back to bed. The recommendations really lean towards more dynamic activating sequences. The goal is to wake up, energize, get things moving.
So things like vinyasa flow, where you link the breath and movement.
Exactly. Vinyasa is often cited as ideal. That synchronization of breath and movement, it's inherently energizing, builds some internal heat. Hatha yoga gets mentioned too.
Okay.
Even though you might hold poses a bit longer in hatha, it's still focused on building strength, finding alignment, really waking up your awareness in your body. Great foundation for the day.
Right.
And really importantly, breath work, pranayama. Starting with some conscious, maybe more invigorating breathing techniques can be amazing for clearing out mental cobwebs and just boosting vitality.
Yeah, I can almost feel that now just thinking about taking some deep, intentional breaths. really gets the system going. Are there specific poses that are kind of the go-tos for morning, the ones that really embody that wake-up energy?
Yeah, a few classics that keep popping up, Sun Salutation, Surya Namaskar. They're fundamental for a reason. That flowing sequence gets the blood pumping everywhere, improves flexibility gently. And the name itself, Sun Salutation, it's perfect, right? Greeting the day.
It really is, like a moving prayer to the morning.
Totally. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, another staple.
Yeah.
Great for stretching the whole back of the body, lengthening the spine, getting a bit of blood flow to the head. Very awakening.
Hmm.
Warrior poses of Virabhadrasana says them too. They're suggested for building that strength, that stamina, that grounded stability you want to carry with you.
Yeah, feeling strong to face the day.
Exactly. And tree pose Vrikshasana is often recommended too for improving balance and cultivating that sense of calm, focused concentration.
Okay. So the morning practice really sounds like it's about shaking off sleep, building heat and strength, getting centered, and kind of sharpening the mind for what's next. It's an active, purposeful start.
That's a great way to put it.
All right, let's do a complete 180. We've greeted the sun. Now let's talk about winding down as it sets.
Evening yoga. My first thought is immediately, slower, stretchier, more chill. Is that the main vibe? And is there a similar physiological reason for doing it then?
Absolutely, spot on. Evening yoga is consistently framed as being perfect for stress relief, helping muscles recover, and really improving sleep quality.
Ah, sleep, the holy grail.
Isn't it just, it's all about undoing the knots, physical and mental, that built up during the day. And yet definitely a clear physiological link there too.
So if morning yoga works with that rising cortisol, is
Yeah.
evening yoga about actively bringing it down?
Precisely that. Cortisol naturally peaks in the morning, but, work stress, deadlines, just the constant buzz of life can keep those levels higher than ideal throughout the day.
Right, making it hard to switch off.
Exactly. So practicing yoga in the evening is noted to help lower that elevated cortisol. And at the same time, it can encourage the production of serotonin, a feel-good neurotransmitter.
Which then helps your body make melatonin, the actual sleep hormone.
Ah, okay. So it's like chemically shifting gears from go, go, go or stressed out to calm and ready for rest, balancing things out after the day's intensity.
That's a perfect description.
So what are the big tangible benefits people talk about for evening practice?
Number one, definitely stress and anxiety relief. It's seen as a really potent way to soothe the nervous system after everything you've dealt with.
I think we could all use some of that.
Tell me about it. It also specifically helps with muscle recovery and releasing physical tension. So if you've been hunched over a keyboard or on your feet all day or even did a workout earlier, it can feel amazing for stiffness and soreness.
Oh, yeah. My shoulders are usually up by my ears by 6 p.m.
It's so common.
Yeah.
And then the big one we mentioned, better sleep quality. By helping you relax deeply and shifting those hormones, evening yoga really prepares you for more restful, solid sleep.
That makes sense.
And there's also a point about it supporting digestion, which sometimes can get in the way of comfortable sleep if things aren't settled.
Okay, so evening yoga sounds like the perfect antidote to that end-of-day fatigue and mental clutter. It's about unwinding, repairing, and just easing into rest. What kind of styles fit that goal?
Yeah, so it's a total contrast to the morning vibe. For evening, you want calming, gentle, really restorative sequences. The focus is purely on relaxation, letting go, maybe a bit of quiet introspection.
So forget the fast flows, more stillness.
Generally, yes. Styles like yin yoga are fantastic. That's where you hold passive stretches for longer, like maybe 2 to 5 minutes, even more sometimes.
Right, getting into the deeper tissues.
Exactly. Targeting those deep connective tissues, ligaments, fascia, that kind of sustained, gentle pressure can be incredibly releasing physically, but also emotionally sometimes. Restorative yoga is also perfect. It uses loads of props, bolsters, blankets, blocks to completely support your body in gentle shapes. You're basically letting the props hold you so you can just melt and let your nervous system unwind completely.
Sounds blissful.
It really can be. And again, mindful breathing is key, but here the focus is on slowing the breath right down, making the exhale longer, really signaling calm to your body.
Yin and restorative. Makes total sense for dialing things down. You're really just letting gravity do the work. What about specific poses for evening? Any favorites there?
Definitely. Child's pose Valasana is almost universally loved for releasing the back, shoulders, neck, just folding forward and letting go.
Yes. Always feels good.
Seated forward fold Paschimottanasana. That's another classic for calming the nervous system and giving the hamstrings and spine a good, gentle stretch.
Yeah, that deep release along the back of the body.
It really is. Legs up the wall pose, Viparita Karani is recommended all the time. It's great for circulation, helps if your legs or feet feel tired or swollen, and it's just generally very calming. It's especially nice after a long day standing or walking.
Oh, I love that one. Simple but effective.
Totally. And of course, the grand finale, corpse pose, Savasana.
A pose everyone's actually waiting for.
Exactly. It gets a specific mention for enabling that complete physical and mental relaxation, letting all the benefits of the practice soak in, and just preparing the mind for sleep.
Okay, so we've got this really clear picture now. Morning yoga, best for energy, focus, routine, working with that natural cortisol wake-up call.
Right. And evening yoga, geared towards stress relief, muscle recovery, preparing for sleep, actively lowering stress hormones, and boosting relaxation signals.
So given how different the aims and effects seem to be, the big question is one just plain better? If you could only pick one time, which should it be?
And this is where it gets really interesting, because the consensus seems to be there's no single best time for everyone.
Ah, okay. No magic bullet.
Not really. It truly seems to depend on you, your lifestyle, what you need right now, and crucially, what are your goals for doing yoga in the first place?
Okay, so it's about matching the time to the intention, aligning the when with the why.
Precisely. If your main aim is to start the day feeling energized and sharp, maybe boost your metabolism, get focused for work or study. Yeah. Or maybe, practically, morning is the only time you can realistically stick with it.
Then morning is probably your best bet.
Yeah, that seems to be the logical choice for those goals.
But what if you're someone who's dragging by the afternoon, full of tension, maybe physically stiff from your day, or you really struggle to unwind and get decent sleep?
Then all signs point towards evening yoga being the better fit. It's specifically designed to tackle those things. Calming that frazzled nervous system, releasing the physical tightness, creating the conditions for good sleep. It's about letting the day go.
Right. So it's less of a contest, morning versus evening, and more about figuring out which one fits your current life and what you want out of your practice. Makes sense. But what if you feel like you need both? You want the energy and the stress relief.
Well, that's where the idea of a balanced approach comes in, and it's definitely seen as a valid, maybe even optimal way to go for some people.
Combining them.
Yeah, if you're looking for that really comprehensive support, practicing at different times with different styles suited to those times is presented as a really effective option.
So like maybe a shorter, punchier session in the morning, 20 minutes of vinyasa or something to get going. And then maybe a longer, say 45-minute, really chill yin or restorative session before bed to properly unwind.
That sounds like a perfect example of how it could work. You're essentially playing to the strength of each time slot. You get the activation to focus for the day, and then the deep release and sleep prep for the night. Optimizing the practice for where your body's at and what you want from it then and there.
And the nice thing about that is it doesn't have to be rigid, right? You can aim for morning mostly, but if you have a super stressful day, you make sure to fit in that evening session.
Exactly, or vice versa.
Your practice becomes more responsive to what you actually need day to day.
Precisely. It becomes less of a fixed appointment and more of a dynamic pool you can use to manage your energy and stress throughout the whole day, the whole 24-hour cycle.
Okay, so let's try and pull this together. What this whole discussion about the timing of yoga really shows is something fundamental, isn't it? Aligning what we do with our body's natural rhythms can really change the outcome.
Yeah, definitely.
We saw that clear split. Morning seems best for energy, focus, getting a routine going, harnessing that natural wakefulness, that cortisol surge.
And evening practice is powerfully geared towards melting away stress, helping the body recover, and setting the stage for deep sleep, actively calming things down and promoting those relaxation signals.
And maybe the most crucial point, really, that came up consistently is that no matter when you practice morning, evening, or both, consistency is king.
Absolutely. Just showing up regularly, that's the foundation. The timing is like fine-tuning based on that consistent effort.
Right. Which brings us back to the main idea. The best time isn't set in stone. It really does depend on your goals, your life. What are you prioritizing? Waking up bright-eyed or winding down peacefully? Your answer probably tells you when to practice.
Exactly. It's about self-awareness, knowing what you need.
And we touched on the potential power of flexibility, maybe using different styles at different times, being responsive to your needs. It doesn't have to be an either choice forever.
For sure. It's about using yoga intelligently to support yourself best in that moment.
So thinking about all this, if just shifting when you do yoga, just Adjusting the timing of this one practice can have such a profound impact because it works with your body's clock. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Hmm. Where are you going with this?
Well, what other small tweaks could we make in our daily routines? Think about, I don't know, when we eat or when we get sunlight or even when we tackle difficult mental tasks. Could adjusting the timing of those things also unlock some unexpected, powerful benefits for our overall well-being?
It's a really interesting thought to leave people with. If timing matters this much for yoga, what else does it matter for?
Exactly. Something to maybe mull over as you
Yeah.
think about when you're going to roll out your mat next.